it looks right now. I'm actually on day 3. This is my new hairline. There's a bunch of grafts in the frontal portion of my hairline, and also further back over here, you guys can see that there is added density all throughout. And also the temporal triangles right there actually extends out just a little bit to make the forehead look a little bit smaller. That right there is the back of my scalp in the donor zone area. It's not as noticeable. Day number 35. So here's how everything looks. This is the left temporal side. Temporal points right there, and then the temples. As you guys can see, there's a lot of hairs that's been shedding. I don't notice too much shedding now. Not as much as I did probably the last few days. And it has nearly been 2 months since my second procedure. There's a bunch of tiny vellus hairs that are growing in various areas, all throughout the hairline. A lot of them are very thin and wispy, and they're going to eventually get thicker and thicker as the months progress by. But as you guys can tell, there are still areas that are just empty. Eventually, the hair follicles are going to start emerging. There's actually no more numbness on any of the recipient and the donor zone. It's my 3-month mark. Hairs are just sprouting out, and I don't know if you guys can take a look up close here, but there's tiny bits of hairs that are sprouting out, which I didn't see a few days ago. Here's the frontal hairline. A lot of these singles implanted in the graft to make it look natural. And then the right temple. So also here, there's a lot of hairs that are growing in. And as the months progress by, it's gonna get thicker and thicker. This is the results at 4 months. Just look how natural everything looks. And I'm not using any type of hair concealer. I don't even have gel right now. The only thing that I did was just blow dry my hair. So it's not currently wet, but just look how natural everything looks. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys will agree that this is a very good hairline. He actually lowered this part here just a little bit so that it can kind of close in this gap between the tip of the eyebrows to the temporal point so that it can make the forehead a little bit smaller. Same thing on this side here. And he also added a density to reinforce it. So if you guys take a look, this is just a lot of growth at month 4. It's already been 5 months and nearly 3,500 grafts are extracted. I think everything looks pretty good. The back of the donor zone, let me show you guys a quick video. So everything is healing up really well. And the hairs in the frontal hairline have definitely filled in, as you guys can see. The hairline, is just looking incredible, thanks to my doctor. The graft placement also is very natural. The hairs are actually pointing in the correct direction. So at 6 months, there's been a lot of growth and importantly, a lot of improved density. And also all of the previous gaps, especially this area right here on the left hairline that I had, is all filled in with hair. As you guys can see, I'm just so happy with the overall progress. The hairline is just looking amazing. It looks very natural, a lot more natural compared to my first one. The grafts in the front are all single grafts, which is what gives the appearance of a natural looking hairline. And if you guys look up close, they're not actually in a straight line. It might look like a straight hairline from a distance. It's actually not. And if you guys look up close, it's actually staggered with different types of hairs that are implanted. Just to kind of give you guys a reference, I did get about ½ an inch up here. So anything below that is all of my natural hair. And same thing with this temporal point here. I actually did not have the temporal points that extended out this much. The original temporal point that I had was probably like right there. So everything that you guys see right here has been transplanted. So you guys can just see how just dense the hairline is. And I kind of forgot about all of the worries that I had before I had a hair transplant. Things like worrying about receding, being able to just really go out and swim or run, putting the windows down in the car with the wind blowing on your hair. I was always afraid of that because I don't want people to see the temporal recessions and big forehead. And that's one of the main reasons why I decided to get a hair transplant, to go ahead and tackle some of the issues that I personally was having. And I'm just so happy that I did go to a good clinic to get natural looking results. Here are the results at just a little over 8 months. I want to say about more closer to about 8.5. You guys can see just how well the hairs are established. I did start growing out my hair, and the plan is to grow out the hairs a little bit longer, probably closer to here. And I wanted to try different types of hairstyles. So it's already been 10 months. So I wanted to give you guys a 10-month update, and I'm also going to be able to show you guys some of this, the FUE scars in the back to see if you guys can tell. So let's get started. Oh my god. The nice thing is you guys will be able to see just how much dense the hairline is. Look how nice it looks already. You guys gonna see that hairline? Yeah, that adolescent looking hairline, Norwood 0. So let me show you guys the back of the scalp up close to see if you guys can see any scars. Like I said, there's about 3,500 FUE holes technically in the back of the scalp. So here's how it looks. Hopefully you guys are able to see it. So no further hair loss so far. You guys can see that there's no crown recessions or anything like that. The hairline looks pretty good, and I think it's proportional to my facial features, and I'm pretty happy with the results. At 11 months, I'm basically at the end of the journey, but I will add that some people, can take upwards to 12 to 15 months to see full growth. So it really depends on each person. But the vast majority of hair transplant patients are going to see their final results around the 10 to 12 month mark. As far as my case, I've been a pretty fast grower, and I really haven't seen much further growth since I feel like I saw the full results around my 7 to 8 month mark. Same thing also happened during my first procedure when I had my first hair transplant. I also saw the most growth around month 7 to 8. So I feel like I've reached the full potential from the 1,800 grafts that were implanted. And as you guys can see up close, the hairline is a pretty aggressive hairline. North 0 to be exact, with no indication of temporal recession. And I also did get the temporal triangular points reconstructed to give a more masculine appearance. It's also going to help close in the forehead, and it makes it look more aesthetically pleasing because the forehead size is going to be reduced. And I mean, at this point, I'm pretty content with how the hair transplant went. This is basically exactly what I've always wanted ever since I started receding. I've always wanted that young juvenile hairline with no recession, and I have finally been able to achieve that. So I'm very thankful for the doctors and the technicians who made this possible. Overall, I'm super happy with how the results came out. I've been a lot more confident with my newly established hairline, and a lot of the worries that I previously had when I was receding or suffering from hair loss are just gone. And it's just overall been a great experience, and I would highly recommend anyone who is a good candidate that is losing hair to really look into hair transplantation, because it's really going to be a life changer.